How do you stub your wiener? What? I don't. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I'm your host, the Incredible Sulk, with a long list of questions already, and welcome to what is this, Thursday night? It's a Thursday night show, and it is the 3rd of July. Obviously, there will not be a show on the 4th of July, because I'm going to be probably blowing stuff up. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. That's the thing. How do you stub your wiener? Background noise. He says, I stub my weenie on the corner of my desk. Like a toe? Like a big toe? I mean, do you jam it? I don't even know. I'm sorry that happened to you, bro. Anyways, tonight we're doing Reddit people. Dangerous Reddit communities. And so, you threw me off, background noise. You threw me off right from the beginning. Right from the beginning of the show. Like, it's a comment, and I'm just like, how do you do that? Is there blood? I don't get it. It's fine. Is there a toenail involved? Is there a nail on your penis? A giant toenail penis? I don't know. Don't describe your penis to me, please. It doesn't matter. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a good night. I hope you guys are doing well. And here in Florida, it's the 3rd of July, right? But you will hear explosions go off the entire night. So if you hear an explosion, that's what's happening. Because you hear them all day, and then probably for the next couple weeks, you'll hear pops going off. You know, sometimes big explosions too, like badass ones. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're gonna deal with tonight. And yeah, so no show tomorrow. It is the 4th of July, and so I'm gonna be doing some July stuff. I might do a game stream during the day. I might not. I don't know. That's my decision. Yeah, it's just my decision. I get to do what I want. Always. And forever. Because I am a cult leader. And, yeah, that's just it. I just lead cults, and I get to do what I want. It's a sex cult. It is a sex cult. So, it gets weird. Weird sometimes. But, whatever. You guys decided to be a part of it. It's not my fault. You know, you guys are the degenerates. I'm just wielding unquestionable power, which is pretty cool. It feels good. It feels good to me. Anyways, yeah, we're doing dangerous Reddit communities tonight, and it should be fun. It is kind of a short video, and we might pop around and get something else. I feel like I'll figure it out, right? It's a little bit short, but don't worry. I have things in the pipe, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, which you don't. You probably think that is something sexual, because I constantly talk about how I'm running a sex cult and stuff, which I understand why you would think that. So I don't blame you. You're not in trouble with me. I don't think you're a bad person or anything. I just think I've trained you to think a certain way, and so when I say things like in the pipe or you know, a length of meat or shaft or anything like that could be even slightly sexual, your brains automatically go to that, and it's my fault. It is my fault. It's also partially Twitter's fault. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about that. It is also partially Twitter's fault. But we're not talking about Twitter. We're talking about something even worse than Twitter tonight, which again is Reddit. I used to have a Reddit account, and it was actually a pretty big account. I had a lot of the karma, but they decided I was hate speeching too much, and so they banned my account. And I was, to be absolutely fair, I was intentionally pissing people off. Yeah, I was really good at it. Now I do it on X. So go fuck yourself, Reddit. I don't care. Yeah. So it'll be fun. We're going to talk about, incels. And I think there's like a short guy subreddit we're going to be talking about. And all the vitriol and hatred that spews from that area. That's tough. Like Randy Newman says, short people have no reason to live, which is mean. That's pretty mean, Randy. I don't know why you just, I mean, they know it. Ow. Ow. That sucks. That's sad. Anyways. Anyway. Welcome to the Sulk stream. Thursday night. Reddit edition. We'll call it that. I think I get comfy. How about that? Get cozy. Get a nice bottle of whatever you're drinking. I got smashed last night. So, I'm not going to be drinking tonight because ouch is how I felt today. And, yeah. Yes. If you're working, thank you for having me on the job as you're working. If you're driving, please drive safely. Get home safely. And if you are lighting off fireworks tonight, please be careful lighting off fireworks. Do not blow off your fingers. Don't blow off your hands. Don't kill yourself with fireworks. I know it's fun, and I'm going to try to follow my own advice when I do it. But yeah, and I got good ones. Oh, I got some good ones. I got some ones that you buy out of the back of some guy's trunk, and he's all like, real hush-hush type of things, right? Where you like, meet me at this biker bar. I'll open up my trunk, and then I'll sell you things that are probably not. They're good ones. Anyways, let's get started. I think we should get started. I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. And this is called the worst Reddit communities of all time. So it's going to be good. Enjoy.
The Monday morning of May the 17th should have been peaceful. With most of the tourists gone for the summer, Palm Springs' retired residents were settling in for just another lazy weekend.
All right, do it right there.
That was until 10:50.
I'll get another bell for Amanda says, I went driving around today and everyone in front of me was drunk. Swerving into lanes and not going when the light was green. It was bad. Is that just a holiday thing? Do you live in like a holiday town? Thank you for the $10, by the way.
2 a.m. when a massive
explosion.
explosion.
I mean, people drive drunk. I mean, this is Florida. You see people driving drunk. It's not that big of a deal.
Tore apart this quiet resort city. Once the dust cleared, the magnitude.
It's okay to be Kristen says I'm 6'3". And
the
another thing
became very clear. A fertility clinic had been completely destroyed, and first responders were struggling to figure out how many people had been hurt. The initial investigation quickly.
Why a fertility clinic? Not an abortion clinic. A fertility clinic where you like go and have like an IVF procedure or whatever, so people can have kids. So people can actually have. Why that? Why blow that up?
He traced the source of the damage to a silver sedan which had been parked just outside, but other than that, they were just in the dark. Little did they know that the tragedy had been months, if not years, in the making. This hadn't begun on the dark web or in a training camp in the Middle East. Instead, this homegrown act of violence had its roots in a website called Reddit. Most people already know Reddit as the self-proclaimed front page of the internet. While it's always different every day, it rarely.
Hold on, I'm gonna pop something in here for later because it is only 16 minutes, so
actually changes. But behind the cat videos and the memes, Reddit is hiding a whole world of twisted communities full of
background noise says we should be able to test to be allowed a higher BAC at the DMV. Yeah, I think you should. I mean, nah. Well, see, that changes though. Like it changes. Like, if you're able to drive with a high BAC, that means you have to like stay drinking, right? You got to drink regularly. You have to kind of be an alcoholic. But if you stop drinking for like, I don't know, a length of time, let's say 6 months, and then you go back to drinking like you were before, you're going to get smashed. And so you'll still have the same blood alcohol content, but you'll be less capable of driving. It just gets too complex. I get what you're saying. I think the best idea would be don't let women drive. Ever. At all. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And then the men can get nice and drunk and drive home because, let's be honest, they're not, they're probably fine.
Individuals. And today we're going to be looking at how Reddit is making
Amanda says, read my dono. I read your dono, dude. I read your dono. Thank you. I appreciate that.
more and more of these monsters. And to do so, we're going to be taking
Muscle
a look
memory
at
will
5
take over, exactly. But that goes out the window. I mean, I don't know. You got to be pretty drunk not to be able to drive. And I've been that drunk plenty of times. Don't get me wrong. But, if you have 6 or 7 beers, you're probably fine to drive.
for the most weird
Most
and
people
disturbing
are, right?
communities on
Unless you're
Reddit.
a 100-pound girl.
Until we find out which one was behind the tragedy in Palm Springs. While our first
So Kid McChrist says John is training to be a better drunk driver. No, I don't drive. I don't even like driving sober. I mean, I don't drive a lot. I'll ride my bike. It's an e-bike. If I'm going around town, I'll ride my e-bike. But if I leave town, if I'm going up to Daytona or down to Orlando or something like that, then I'll take the car. And it keeps miles off my car, which is, I have to own a car. And so, yeah. But I like riding my bike around town. I can get everywhere. I can go to the beach or whatever. It's not, it's cool.
community is probably more sad than disturbing,
Maybe I'll get a golf cart. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
it really gives us an insight into how these kinds of subreddits work. The Short Guys subreddit is what it sounds like, a place for short men to discuss their experiences in life. On the other
Now, what are we talking short? Okay, look, if you're 5'6", that's not that bad. It's not great. Don't get me wrong. 5'6" is not great. But that's not that bad. When you get down to 5'2", it's starting to get pretty bad. But I don't know. I don't have this problem. It's not that I'm exceedingly tall. I'm roughly 6 feet. So, but I don't know. Maybe being 5'6" is that bad. Maybe you're just a fucking weirdo too. On top of that, you ever think about that? I've known a dude that had to be 5'7" or something like that. That absolutely slayed pussy. Slayed it. I hated him, but he admittedly did pull some tail.
other hand, it seems perfectly normal for men to vent about this online. They claim it's undeniable that
Despite says fucking golf cart people, don't get me started. Yeah, a lot of people own golf carts in this town because everywhere is below 35 miles an hour, and but people drive drunk as shit when they're driving their golf carts. Drunk as shit. And kids drive them, and it's everyone has an e-bike too. Everyone, including the homeless people, everyone has an e-bike.
height plays a role in how people are perceived.
It's just simple. It's super easy to get everywhere. You don't have to have a license. You don't need to register it. It is the best way to get around. It is the best, cheapest way to get around. My wife's got one. She's got a little trailer. She puts the kids in the back. She can go to the grocery store. She can go to the pool. She can go around town. It's not an issue whatsoever.
And it's generally much harsher for men. And while
Self says, I'm 5'5". Could you milk me, Greg? No. No, I didn't even say that. I said being 5'6" wasn't that bad. How do you like being 5'5"? I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
it doesn't matter to all women, there's a reason that Tinder's been trialing a height filter for premium users. But
Amanda says, I'm 5'8". I hate short people. Jess is about 5'7". So she's pretty tall for a girl, too.
there's venting about getting dealt a worse hand in life, and then there's the Short Guys subreddit, as they've made this entire thing their whole identity. Both of the first top 2 posts from the past year summarize just how negative their mentality is.
Despite says the people who let their kids drive them are the worst. No, I mean, they just hop. I've seen golf carts with just kids on them. Just kids. I mean, maybe they're 16. I don't know. But they drive to the beach and stuff. I don't see a problem with it. They seem to be having a good time. Why you gotta be a fucking stickler about it? If they crash, that's them. That's on them. The thing only goes 30 miles an hour. Whatever.
You can't even talk about what they're suggesting. Another top post implies
Short
that
people belong in Greenland. Now, what are we calling short? What are we calling short? Because I think this is the short guy subreddit says everybody below 6 feet just has no reason to live and should not try, which is like that's like most people. That is definitely most people. That's the vast majority of people. I know for girls it's not the same because it doesn't matter how short or tall. If a girl is like 4'10" or something like that, then it starts to get pretty gross. But like a girl that's 5'2", that's pretty normal. I mean, that's still pretty short, but it's normal for a girl. But like, yeah, once you break below that 5 foot mark for a girl, it's like, ugh. And then she's got a bunch of attitude and shit too. And then you're just like, oh, get out of here. Yuck. Yeah, I don't like him like that. Thankfully, Jess is nice and leggy. She's like 90% legs.
being tall is all you need in life. But if you aren't tall, you need to be what they think is perfect in every...
It's okay, but Christian says 5'6" foot below, and Selma says, fuck you.
other way. Even then, you still will never be able to compete. This just gives you an idea of how self-defeating and horribly nihilistic this mentality in the community is. It's all reinforcing one idea that people who aren't over 6 feet have no reason to even try in life, which is absolutely insane.
Despite says they aren't allowed to drive in the park. Well, that's a park. That's a park. Like, I don't even think they're allowed to drive around town, but they do. And like, the cops here are mainly for the tourists, right? Not that they don't like bust the locals every once in a while, but they're mainly there for the tourists. But yeah, I met a bunch of the cops around here. They seem pretty cool. I mean, they get called to my house because I'm like shooting off guns or blowing stuff up or something. And then my neighbors all like, ah. Yeah, I'm a dick. Whatever. I have an acre. I have a fucking acre. If I have an acre, I get to do what I want. It's a fucking acre, you know? We're far enough apart. All right? If we were right on top of each other and then I was like blasting off shots like as you're trying to, no. But like, come on, there's plenty of space here. There's plenty, and this is Florida.
Deeper into the subreddit and reading all these daily posts highlights the effects of this kind of reinforcement.
Strawberry says I'm 5'3.5". That's adorable, and I feel like I'm a pretty average for a girl. It's adorable because you said and a half, like you're a fucking 5-year-old, and you're like I'm 5.5. Okay, so you're 5. Yeah, no, 5'3" for a girl seems pretty average. That is maybe a little below average, honestly. I think the average for a girl is like 5 foot. Actually, I don't know. 5'5", 5'4", I don't know.
One user writes that he basically got called a creep for entering the staff break room. The post doesn't.
Silva says, ironically, I have 5.5 acres for real. That's 6. That's fucking sick, bro. Where do you live? Is it like up in Idaho or like where? That's cool.
Go into much detail in the actual story, but the second half does tell us what it meant to the user, echoing the ideas that the more popular post hints at.
I would like more land, but like where I live, it's like expensive. So it's an acre, it's 10 minutes from the beach, and like we're like right in the middle of town. So it's a nice piece of property. It is a nice piece of property. I'm very happy with my piece of property. Would I like more? Yeah, but I don't want to have to like drive 20 minutes to a grocery store.
If you're 5'5" like me and sub 5, your very existence is an affront to girls everywhere.
Girls are pretty mean about that, right? Girls do not like short guys. I don't think girls like guys, period, whatsoever. But like, you know, you have to be. I mean, you can't. You know. I mean, they're going to be mean to you, right? I've seen them be real mean. I've seen them be real mean, dude.
It's ridiculous how innate and pure their hatred of short guys are. It must be written into their DNA to automatically despise short guys. If you're short...
Silva says outside Boston, but moving to Idaho this year. Cool. A lot of people are moving to Idaho.
nothing you do will ever be right. And if you're tall, you can do no wrong. In the comments, other users agree
No.
with them.
I've known guys that were like 5'6", 5'7", or something like that absolutely slayed pussy. And I've known guys that were like 6'7" that were just goobers, just complete losers, dude. It is not strictly just about your height. Look, women look for a package type of deal. And yeah, height is important in that, don't get me wrong. But if you're lacking everything else, including social graces, it's still a no-go. Sorry, I'm burping like internally. Hey, babe. Hey.
Resentment just oozes out. One commenter writes, "This is why you stay away from women unless it's escorts." Another says in a different...
This is why you stay away from women unless it's escorts. This is about the short guy subreddit? Like, really? Like, what? You're mean to short people, too.
Short women are perfectly acceptable.
You see what I'm fucking saying? Do you see what I'm fucking saying? Do you see what yeah. That's exactly my point. Oh my God, that's exactly, yeah.
Hey, remember when I was ragging on, what's his head? Eugene, what's his name?
I don't know Eugene.
Elliot. Remember when I was ragging on Elliot the other night, and I was slaying. I don't remember what I said, but it was really funny. Remember
Elliot? Who's Elliot?
Rogers. The short
Elliot Roger. Elliot Roger. Yeah, Saint Elliot as he's known. How tall was he? I looked it up, and it seems to be there's some sort of some places said he was like 5'8", and some places said he was like 5'2". So what? Does anybody know how tall that guy was? She said it was because he was short. I just think it was. I think it was just because he's fucking crazy.
Different timeline, I suggest reporting it, but she's female.
Despite says 6'7" is too tall, there's a sweet spot. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is too tall, right? You can't even like ride on certain rides. When you go to like fucking, the theme parks, you can't ride on certain rides if you're just too lanky. You're just all lanky. Just all fucking lanky.
Who are we kidding? Communities like this one are pure breeding grounds for this kind of resentment. Unlike some of the other ones we'll discuss later down the line, Short Guys has a kernel of truth at its core, as it's pretty clear that the users do face problems in their day-to-day lives because of their height, and they just see the entire West in a huge dating crisis.
See, what they're doing is they're pinning all their problems on one thing. And I'm not saying that being short isn't like a problem for guys, right? For girls, it's not a problem. Again, as long as you're not under 5 foot, but that's even pretty short for a girl. That's even, I find girls that short disgusting. So I'm not even immune to it, right? If you're 4'10" and stuff and like screaming at the bar and shit, I'm like, you get out of here. You try to shoo them. But yeah. Being short as a guy would, I could see that being very, because it's already tough enough out there. It's already tough enough. You gotta have all these other things. So if you're like short and poor and ugly, you got a lot of shit stacked against you. But you can still pull it off. I mean, Kevin Hart's like a billionaire or something like that, and he's all of those things.
Where the top percentile of men are taking all of the women, leaving them without any companionship and love, the fundamentals of a good life. So why even try? Or they just had negative experiences that led to their interest in the sub to begin with. But if they start reading this sort of stuff regularly, and they subscribe to this community, the constant barrage of negativity makes things seem so much worse. One person venting online gets turned into ammunition for hundreds of thousands of men to direct at themselves and their own self-image. What might have stayed as a small insecurity can take over someone's entire mental state.
I like how they have to put their thing, I'm 5'6". Again, they have to like put a tag in to see how fucking like wrought up are you? Like are you there's a hierarchy where like your comment is worth more because you're 5'2" as a man, as opposed to somebody who's 5'6", who's basically Chad territory to that guy. And again, I don't think 5'6" is all that short. I mean, it is pretty short for a guy, but it's not like 5'2". Who was that? Who's that chick that turned into a guy? She's 5'2" and like 100 pounds, and now she does like pictures of herself shirtless, and she's got like abs, and they're like, oh, she's such a cute guy. She's 5'2". She's 5'2". You'd never touch her if she was an actual guy. She's still a girl though, so you have to look out for other girls. Girls are like that. Girls are like, I know. They don't see her as a guy. They still see her as a girl, but they pretend to, and they call her Ellen Page. That's what her name is. I'm not calling her Elliot.
Once that's happened, it can be a much bigger obstacle to their happiness than their height ever was.
Gnostic says, I'm 5'10" and I feel short. Yeah, that's not... I wouldn't call that short. I would call that... honestly, I'd call that above average. I mean, I would call that above average, but... I mean, you're not 6'4", so... I'm not 6'4" either, dude. So
while you can see how this community could incite a depressive worldview, it doesn't go as far as encouraging violence. Most of the time, the rage on show is projected inwards. And this wasn't the culprit in the pump.
Gnostic says, if you can't get in great shape at 5'2", you got a problem. I'm sorry. At 5'2", even you can get in great shape, even if you're jacked at 5'2", it's like, yeah, but you're still fucking 5'2", man. That's still that's a huge thing to deal with, right? And you can get that Justin Bieber surgery where they like stretch out your legs and shit. Fucking revving in front of my house. But, yeah. How much does that add? Like 3 inches or something like that? So then you're like 5'5", and that's still pretty damn short.
Springs disaster. But it isn't only the men who have these spaces on Reddit. Resentful and bitter women can also find like-minded people online, specifically on the female dating strategy subreddit. Today, the community is a husk of its former self. While it used to have thousands of active users, now it's just some mod posting podcast links every week or so. But how did the subreddit with over 250,000 users become so deserted? Well, as you'll find out, the community became such a toxic echo chamber that it outgrew the limits of what Reddit would put up with. But before this was abandoned, female dating strategy was...
Oh, female dating strategy is like so good. Have you ever gone and like looked through... First of all, you can tell every chick on there is just huge, just super mega fat. Here, I'll tell you, look, being a short guy is like being a horribly obese woman, but honestly, it's worse because a horribly obese woman, she can lose the weight. Also, being horribly obese, she can still find a man to hit it. He might be black, but I mean, she can still do it, right? If you're 5'2", there's just no chance. I mean, there's very little chance. Are you going to find an even shorter girl than that? That's not common. That's not common.
Was advertised as a subreddit for women in the dating world. Unfortunately for any woman actually looking for help though, it never really gave them actual...
Silva says, John, how dare you, sir? Pitter patters away. That's funny. That's adorable, honestly.
Tips. Instead of actual help.
You know what the key is, though? Is just fucking being funny. You just have to be funny. Just be sharp and witty. And also having a ton of money helps. So there is a way out. Danny DeVito got married, and look at him. He's a little hobgoblin. I've seen it happen.
Help or advice, the majority of posts on the forum were about their problems with men instead. Pretty soon the advice on the subreddit became that you deserve everything you could ever want in a man. If men don't accept you as you are, then you aren't worth anything anyway. The prejudice was codified and transformed into a whole ideology, with its own buzz terms. You didn't talk about men on the subreddit anymore. Instead, they started calling them scrotes.
Scrotes.
Users on the subreddit...
So a female dating strategy calls short men scrotes. Like scrotums? Or is that just men in general?
Also put men in two categories, high value and low value. So what makes a high value man? Well, it's hard for them to pin down exactly. When someone asks them that,
I'll tell you what, the chicks on female dating strategy are like the wild kind of chicks where they want you to like strangle them a lot and like put a gun to their head when you're banging them and stuff. Like crazy, they're like all rape fantasy, all up in here, all up. I guarantee you. And then they hate men because they're not fulfilling their fantasies. Well, I mean, what you want is a crime. What do you want me to do is a crime. And I'm not going to like do that. And like on the off chance that you're into it,
Question, this was the response they got. According to the top voter reply, a high value man is respectful, loyal, and faithful. They pay for dates as well as the
Oh my God. Then why don't you pick a man that is respectful, loyal, and faithful? It's so funny because whenever women get cheated on, they're always all like, why are all guys like this? It's not all guys. It's the guys that you pick. The guys that you pick are the ones that are going to cheat on you. Why is there no accountability whatsoever? There's no female accountability whatsoever. Ever, 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 ever. It can never be my fault. This is why your life sucks, right? Because you don't take responsibility for anything at all. Everything is just someone else's fault. And someone else has to fix that for you, right? And so you end up, getting knocked up and like the guy bails because you picked that guy. And then you're all like, oh, it's men's fault. It's your fault. It's 100% your fault.
Rest of the relationship's costs. They're confident, reliable, they listen, they make lots of money while still spending all of their time with you. They appreciate you and they're obviously going to be conventionally attractive as well. This is just the beginning of their demands. And
The demands. So, okay. So these are demands by the women over on female dating strategy. And if you ever have the time, please go over there and just scroll through. Oh my God. The posts are insane. Like, you can't post anything because they will block you. They'll automatically block your account, right? You can always make a new account. But they are quick to block you because they don't want to hear differing opinions. They don't want to hear how they're, this might be their fault or, they're the problem. Because they absolutely are. They absolutely are the problem. But go, just whip through it sometime. It is wild. It is eye-opening. Like how delusional people can be. I mean, they're women. They're not people, but you know what I mean.
You can bet there are a whole lot more that they're not mentioning. If you're just missing even one, then you're a low-value man. Low-value men aren't worth dating according to the users on the subreddit. They aren't even worth acknowledging. The irony and hypocrisy of the subreddit is that the rest of the memes and posts are all about how women shouldn't have to conform to society.
Here's the thing about Reddit that I've noticed. Everyone on Reddit is miserable. Everyone on, and it's a deeply leftist site. It's deep. Everyone is miserable on Reddit. It's the short guy subreddit. It's a female dating strategy. They're both just miserable people, right? And they blame it on things that are out of their control, right? I mean, yeah, you're short, sure, and that was kind of out of your control. But again, that's one thing. And the women over on FDS are crazy. They're insane. But that's all of Reddit. You go to like r/politics, even you go to like r/pics, where it's like non-political, and you'll find people that are insane. Like a bunch of drones and stuff. God, dude, it is a dumpster fire over there. I kind of want to go back and just like look around, but if I made a new account, it would get banned again immediately. I know it would. I just know it would because I'd be too tempted to be like, I would use the N word and, I'd use the T word, right? And they hate all that. But it'd be fun, just to get a burner account and just fucking piss a bunch of people off.
Society or men's expectations. They deserve happiness and everything they could ever want from a partner without.
Selva says, guys, let's tone it down. There's women here and Miami MILF. Miami MILF is here? Is she? I don't think she's here.
having to put the work in themselves. Eventually, all of this resentment on the subreddit became so toxic that the community self-imploded. Reddit had left the community alone for years because it matched their left-wing bias, but even they were getting close to shutting this down. So instead, the mods just did it for them, trying to migrate the community to a new website while leaving the old one intact. Now it's just locked down, with one of the old mods posting something every so often to keep anyone else from taking it over, but that's just about it. The Palm Springs disaster didn't come from this community either, though.
FTS isn't a thing anymore?
While the perpetrator had resentment and business in common with this community, they weren't known as an active member. So instead, we need to go further to show how Reddit's echo chambers led to such a tragedy. As we get
Despite says Miami MILF has never been here. Yeah, I've never seen her here. Yeah, she's never been
deep
here.
into Reddit's guts, the communities go from bitter and resentful to downright delusional. Welcome to the Talupa subreddit. Now, what actually is a Talupa? While specific
like a chalupa, like the Taco Bell food?
Definitions vary, the general idea remains the same. Remember when you were little and you had an imaginary friend?
No, I had no imagination as a child. I was very, everything was very literal, and I was a very boring child.
Creating a new friend in your head, only this time they won't just be imaginary. The users of the Talupas subreddit are convinced they've created entirely separate people who live in their minds. According to them, they're just the hosts.
Christian says Miami MILF is sleeping in bed at this hour, and I believe him. Right? They go to bed at like 5 p.m. Right? This is way past her bedtime. She got to wake up at 4:30 for that early bird special.
These are completely separate individuals who have their own personalities, desires, preferences, and tastes. Now, the exact details vary from person to person. For some, you can expect that underneath what they say, they know it's all just in their heads. For others, it really seems that they're convinced Talupas are real. Sometimes they'll even post as if it's the Talupa talking. One of the top posts is written as if it's one Talupa sending a message to all the others out there. But it reads though like they're trying to convince themselves more than anyone else. In their post, "You are not imaginary, you are real, and you are valid," Talupa's user Gress the Lexophile goes into
Are you serious? So this is an imaginary friend? Imaginary friend subreddit? The people over there are insane, dude. Insane.
Excruciating detail. Quote, "In my original now lost post, I focused a lot on that word, imaginary. I focused on how we should distance ourselves from the word, from even using imaginary friends as a desperate attempt to make singlets understand, and how our experience is nothing merely imaginary. And now I feel a strong need to affirm these." Like other echo chambers we've already seen, they're creating new words to talk about people outside of the community. In this case, people without talupas are called singlets. The post continues with more of the same and ends with the lines, "We are not imaginary, we are real, we are valid. And we will continue being so no matter what may come." At this point, you might be thinking that none of this can actually be true. Thousands of people can't possibly believe in all of this. Or maybe you're just jaded enough that you're willing to accept Redditors latching on to absolutely anything. Those were the thoughts of one user. Using a throwaway account, they made a post on the sub asking, "Please don't take offense in this, but are you guys for real? Do you guys seriously feel this way, or are you just one-upping each other when it comes to roleplay?" They didn't get a concrete answer because it varies from person to person, but
yeah, there's some people, I guarantee you some people are absolutely real. Schizos. Just absolute schizos.
The top comment reflects this, with a single user writing that, "I know people going back years who have had some form of a talupa. I noticed different
Tulpa. There's no... why do you say talupa?
Speech patterns, different handwriting, like and dislike of different food."
Yeah, okay, so what that is a dissociative identity disorder, DID, right? And it's where you kind of split, and then you're two people, right? Multiple personality disorder, whatever you want to call it. It's DID now, but that's what I would think this is, right? If you have an imaginary friend that takes over your body and has like a different handwriting and like different opinions and thoughts and a voice, that's DID. You're sick. You're sick in the head. Look, why do you have an imaginary imaginary friend as an adult on Reddit? Because Reddit is not a place for kids.
Here I believe there are some legit people like that person, but I also feel like there are some people who think the idea of having a talupa is cool and trendy. Others echo the sentiment while also trying to get the original poster to see things their way. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter that lots of people might be roleplaying or posting ironically. It's almost certain a proportion of the users aren't in on the joke. And if they can't tell and they buy into this, then eventually what used to be a joke can become a mixture of fact and fiction over time. In the case of Talupas, it might seem pretty harmless. While it might be strange, it doesn't really matter if people have imaginary friends or that they think they are real. However, the sub still reinforces people with serious mental health delusions, which is something that Reddit is full of in 2025. But it's probably not a good enough reason to ban the subreddit. You can't imagine it feeling a kind of Green Goblin situation. And while the perpetrator of Palm Springs was delusional, he wasn't a Talupas user either.
Why did he a fertility?
This is a subreddit for everything, and that includes illicit substances. Whilst more of the more popular subreddits on this are focused on prevention, harm reduction, and addiction treatment, those aren't the only communities available. There are also a ton of different subreddits focused on active users, people who don't want to stop.
Christian says, John, you should do a show on a Benadryl hat man, crazy stuff. I did like a year and a half ago, but I could do another one. Yeah, that's no problem.
Want to talk about their experiences with other active
I did one a long time ago.
Users. Some of these communities can blur the line between helpful and actually harmful, while others are almost certainly enabling addiction. There are some
take like 20 Benadryl and then you see Satan. Apparently that's Satan. That's the devil himself. I don't know why you would keep going back there, but people do get addicted. It's not even a drug, it's a deliriant, right? It doesn't make you trip. It makes you delirious. Like you have a terrible fever. And then you see things that scare you and terrify you. It's like having a nightmare. I'm gonna take all these Benadryl and then I'm gonna have a nightmare. And then I'm gonna get addicted to having nightmares. Okay, go ahead, weirdo. That's insane.
For alcohol, others are for harder substances. One of these focused on a certain white powder that is particularly dangerous, which, for the purposes of the video, we'll call the Content Guidelines subreddit. In the community, lots of the dangers of snorting content are openly acknowledged. People will make posts talking about how expensive it is or how dangerous this can be. They'll talk about famous people who have all fallen victim to this, or they'll even tell their own stories of friends and family members who lost their lives to this.
Overdoses at high. Wow. Doctor, huh? Doctor has too much blow.
But while all of that is going on, the subreddit also normalizes that lifestyle as well. Take this post, one of the top from the past year, where the user has taken a picture from an airport bathroom. You can imagine lots of the community being taken in by the novelty of this, but it's actually incredibly dangerous even compared to regular use.
How do you get on the airplane?
Past airport security and all the potential.
That's stupid. It's easy to get. I mean, first, TSA doesn't even do their jobs. They're bad at their jobs. TSA is bad at their jobs. They don't give a shit. They never really find anything, and I don't even think they care. They don't care.
Potentially life-ruining risks associated with that. That wasn't the only danger. You've got to scroll quite far down.
It's okay to be Christian says, I'll stick to taking jet. You get like Fallout? Like Fallout? You can get that?
Thread on Reddit to see it. Most people who are just reading the title and the picture wouldn't notice a dire warning from a now deleted account. Quote, once the plane reaches...
Background noise says, I'm just picturing a 20-something having a tea party at his kid's table. Well, it's going to be a 20-something. They're going to be in their childhood room, like in their parents' house. There's going to be a bunch of posters on the wall. They're going to be wearing like one of those choker collars, right? And they're going to be wearing like tights, you know, like stockings and stuff like that, and wearing a skirt. And then they're going to be on their computers on Reddit, and their headphones have fucking cat ears on them, right? And they're depressed, and they have no idea why. Retards. They're retarded. Again, vaccines. I sneezed. I'm sorry. I said vaccines. Because apparently I can't say that without YouTube being like, hey, that's medical misinformation. You can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm not a fucking doctor. I can't make a mistake. I'm not a fucking doctor. You're mad that I'm okay. Excuse the fuck out of me, YouTube.
Cruising altitude, the oxygen available in the air drops from around 21% to about 15%. This doesn't affect healthy people, but if you're putting your arteries and heart through vasoconstriction, then your heart is going to have even less oxygen carried to it through your blood. And a quick Google confirms all of this is true. They even know someone who passed away because of this. He was a long-term user and didn't realize that his arteries were already quite tight. Combine that with the 24-hour lingering effects of his last binge and the reduced oxygen in flight, a fatal heart heart attack then followed. So other than promoting medically dangerous behavior, the subreddit also gives you a window into what its users' lives are actually like. Another top post from the past year shows a picture of someone using the substance whilst also gambling online at the same time.
Nice.
While some of the comments try to warn him, others are asking questions and trying to replicate his experience.
So you're dusted off into gambling? You're just living the high life, man. That's just living the high life, you know.
Post sums up what this community has become. While it's still enabling and dangerous, the community also has the same vibe as the last hour of the party. Nearly everyone has gone home and left already. The sun is coming up, you can hear the birds outside, and people are already going outside for work. But even as crazy and dangerous as these communities are in 2025 though, this wasn't the one that inspired the act of destruction in Palm Springs. Instead, that story begins with an unlikely candidate, a subreddit called Child Free. So let's dive right in. The first thing you'll notice is that
like antinatalism stuff. Yeah. So there's like antinatalists on Reddit that think the worst sin is to like have kids because you subject them to the pain of existence. And also these people are extremely depressed and they're psychotic. And yeah. Yep. And so that's probably
Child Free is the largest community we've talked about so far, with a staggering 1.5 million subscribed users. At first, the community seems harmless. While they don't give much away, the subreddit describes itself as a place for those who do not have and do not want to ever have children. The most popular posts go into detail about the benefits of not having kids. Lots of them are just screenshots of tweets that make jokes about it. Like this one about how much money you can save, or this one about all the free
money you can save? Money? I mean, don't get me wrong, kids are expensive, but you just want for money? I don't get people.
Time you can have. For the top post, you've got the same reinforcing memes and Twitter screenshots we've grown to expect.
Poor people, cavemen had kids. They didn't have any money. They had no money. They had literally had no concept of money. They still had kids. They still banged away, and then kids came, and they're like, oh, we got to feed these kids. And so they killed something and fed it to them, and they were happy. Kids don't need money to be happy. But yeah, they are expensive to feed. I mean, God, our grocery bills are like insane.
Expect. The real juicy posts are found in the day-to-day discussion. Here we see just how depressive and nihilistic the ideology they're pushing really is. One fairly popular post, Key Opinion 1700, poses a cheery question. Our extinction is inevitable, so why are we prolonging it? He continues in the post saying that we're all gonna die and as a species go extinct at some point, and with the way the world is heading, it might be soon. While we're no strangers to pessimism here, they took it a bunch further. This is accepted as scripture in antinatalism that there is absolutely no point in life whatsoever. They think that having kids makes you responsible for their future suffering. Another post made a day later is titled Birth, a guaranteed death sentence. 2 people in my life recently had kids, the post begins. I physically felt discomfort that they were delighted even knowing they will die at some point and suffer along the way. Just so weird to me knowingly have kids that will die. These horrible nihilistic posts are everywhere on the subreddit. You can imagine the terrible effects reading this every single day would have on your mental health. In fact, you don't even have to imagine it.
Yeah, the people on Reddit have bad mental health. And Reddit probably helps that, right? They help it along. You know, like, there's like 10 people that moderate the entire website. There's like 10 people. And who those people are, we don't exactly know. But like they're the main people, and they probably work for China or some intelligence agency, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's bad. That's a bad site.
He's seen the results. So finally, let's come full circle and get back to the
Christian says being 5'6" and under does this to people. You're just ripping on Silvis, aren't you?
Tragedy in Palm Springs. After a massive investigation, the FBI concluded that the explosion had been the work of one guy, Edward Bartkus. On May 17th, Edward had driven the explosive device to a fertility clinic in Palm Springs where IVF embryos were being stored. He succeeded in destroying the clinic, but miraculously nobody else other than the perpetrator lost their lives in the attack. A few people in the clinic or who were nearby at the time of the explosion suffered minor injuries, but that was it. When the FBI got deeper into the case, they found—
Wait, what about the embryos though? Did they perish? Because those are, I mean, that counts as people. to me, that counts as people. So
found that Edward had been motivated by an anti-life ideology, incredibly similar to the one discussed in antinatalism. In fact, he had gone one step further, posting to and reading a subreddit called Ephilism. Named by reversing the word life to signifying their opposition to it, the Ephilism community was an even more extreme version of antinatalism. They believed that non-existence was preferable to existing, and clearly this laid the foundations for Edward's.
So why don't they off themselves? Like, why would they even bother making this site? Why would they bother being alive? If they're so against life in general itself, why are you alive? Because you don't have the fucking balls to, like, actually off yourself? Is that what the problem is?
Violent
that must be
illusions.
it.
Other like-minded extremists he had met online had seemingly encouraged him. One even supplied him with the ingredients to make the device, and he has since been arrested by Polish police and deported to the US. Today, in large part because of Edward's crimes and his connection to the community, it has been banned. But all the other communities that got him into that space are still alive and well, which is why we see Reddit making monsters all the time. Naturally, these other subreddits don't acknowledge the link at all, really. Mentioning it will almost likely get you banned by moderators. And Reddit itself is instrumental in enabling these destructive communities and these deranged Redditors. Especially when they match the overwhelming left-wing bias on the site, they often stick around for years, polluting people's minds. It's only when
I like how they did he's got a fedora and he's all fat and shirtless.
strikes that Reddit does the bare minimum. But hopefully our journey today through these disturbing communities will show you what to look out for in the future.
Reddit. It's called Reddit. You just stay off of Reddit and you're okay. All right, we're going to do another one. It's called Being a Loser is Not a Flex.
I exist. I'm 26 years old.
Ew. You're 26? Oh, I'm sorry. You never got to be pretty. That's a bummer. You never got to be pretty. Oh, you poor girl.
I'm a virgin. I still live with...
Yeah, well,
mommy and daddy. I don't drive because I'm too afraid to. I've never dated before. I'm just kind of a big...
Despite says life in general was my jam in middle school. Are you talking what? Is that a game or an album? Is there something I missed? Or you were just jazzed on life in middle school? Not so much today, but in middle school that was the shit. Living. I didn't like my entire school career. I'm much happier now. I am a much happier person now than I was when I was a child. Being a child fucking blew, dude. It sucked. But now I'm pretty stoked. My life kicks ass now. Take that, teachers who always said I was going to be homeless. Not homeless. I'm doing great.
A while back, I mentioned that there was this trend I called a loser meta, where people farm pity and hundreds of thousands to millions of views by talking about how miserable their lives are. Initially, I was quite sympathetic.
Yeah, that's a rough ass 26, isn't it?
To these people, but the more I watch the I'm 35 and never had a girlfriend videos, and the more I see these people failing to make any noticeable improvements despite months or years passing by, the less I care.
I'm also a big loser because I'm a leech. I live with my parents still.
You're a girl.
They pay the bills. I pay my rent, but it's not very much. I don't know what I want with my future. I do know I want to travel the world, but...
Yeah, travel. Yeah, you're just a bitch. You're just... Yeah, oh, I want to travel. I want to do things that are extremely expensive. Yeah, you're normal. You're a normal person.
I don't see how that's ever going to be possible when I have crippling anxiety.
Okay, so give up then. I guess there's nothing you can do. And I know that sounds kind of mean, but when you listen to enough of these people talk, it is blatantly obvious to pretty much everyone why they aren't doing well, oftentimes even by their own admission, yet they still do nothing about it. I believe most people's problems are less hard to figure out than they think.
Christian says, I never went to prison, so suck it, my old teachers. Yeah. You know, if teachers knew anything, they wouldn't be teachers. So, like, taking advice from them is a bad idea. Letting them teach you anything is a bad idea. They might get angry at you, but who gives a shit? They're angry at life. They're fucking teachers. You don't have to listen to them. There's no law that says you have to listen to teachers. If you're a younger kid and you're still in school or whatever, don't listen to your teachers. They're fools. They lost at life. And now that's why they have to sit in a room full of kids because they basically are one. So don't listen to them. Don't respect them. Don't do anything like that.
Like, does anyone have trouble identifying the specific reasons for why this girl here is having trouble staying in a relationship?
I get intense attractions towards very emotionally unavailable people. In the past, the only people that
She's autistic.
I've had crushes on are either people that did not want me back or people that did not have the capacity to hold the intensity of the love that I am able to give.
Right.
Yeah, autistic.
You love intensely and guys just can't handle it. Good God, look at that Instagram.
Christian says, and I carry a calculator around with me everywhere I go. Somebody went to school in the 90s. Yeah. Yep. They'd always be like, well, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket. Yeah, they didn't know shit. They had no, like, and honestly, I feel like that was pretty easy to predict. You don't think they had calculators on watches. On watches. Right? You had a calculator on your desk. People have calculators everywhere they go. So, yeah, useless. You have a useless career, and now I hope you're old and dying. So these are just my teachers. Maybe not teachers in general, but every teacher I had was a goddamn fool. They were retarded. The men and the women, but the men were a problem too, because a lot of times they were just perverts, right? Like, very inappropriate towards the females in class. Sometimes the males.
So this is one of those blind leading the blind channels like the Wizard Liz.
I'm very, very emotional. And when I love intensely, right? And I don't numb my emotions. Like, I'll cry in front of anyone. I don't give a shit, right? I feel the depth of all of my emotions and I do not numb them, which means I feel love to...
Why are women, dude? What is with women? What is it? Are you like sentient? Do you have the ability? It must be a nightmare. You have no control over any of your emotions. You can't do basic things and stuff like that, and you still get a 6-figure job doing essentially nothing because it's the law that a company has to hire that amount of women. I've seen them. I've seen women in the workplace. They're useless. They're completely, and you might be a woman in the workplace, and you'd be like, I'm not useless. Well, you are, yes. I mean, unless you're like a nurse, perhaps, or a receptionist. No, because robots can do that. I'm trying to think. What are women good at? Does anybody else have an idea? No? Okay. All right. No one's going to fucking help me on that one. Nurses can be women, right? Not cops or anything, not firefighters, nothing that requires anything like that. Not, God, scheduling, maybe? Scheduling, I guess. Scheduling works. We'll go with scheduling.
Its intensity. And so
HR is not a real department, by the way. HR is not, human resources is not a real department. It is a fake department that they made up so they could put women somewhere.
I always get attracted to emotionally unavailable people, and I've never been...
Women are good at gaslighting themselves. Yeah, but they're also good at fighting each other and like making up shit, like drama and like office politics. That shit did not exist before women were in the workplace. That was not a thing. No. Now every fucking office turned into a fucking high school because you had to have women in there. And like some women hate other women and like, oh, look, there's a prettier girl. Let's all band together and make her cry and shit like that. And then the company gets sued because they're not establishing a healthy work environment. Or somebody gets sexually harassed because an ugly guy said, hey, you look good today. Or some bullshit like that. You know, it's nothing but a problem. It's nothing but a problem. And like, I feel bad for people trying to run a business that's over, I forget the minimum requirement, but it's not that big. That's over a certain amount of people. You have to have 50% of women on the workforce. Because it's just like, wow, I have to be so profitable. Half of my team has to be useless. That's really hard. That is really hard to do. Now, if you're a mega corporation that's already well established, you can handle that. But if you're like a startup, like a mom and pop startup that's trying to like lift yourself up by your bootstraps, that's a death knell.
Relationship.
I don't even think she believes her own bullshit, so allow me to translate. When she says, I love intensely, she means that she is
Holographic says women are good at anything that requires a lot of multitasking. That's just like saying they can't focus on anything. What okay, a lot of multitasking. Raising children. They're good at that. Kinda. It depends on which one. Some of them are good at that. Multitasking. Help me out. Give me an example.
incredibly needy and won't give the guy she's with any space or any time away from her. And when she says, I will cry in front of anyone and I feel my emotions fully, she means that she is an emotional train wreck who will trauma dump onto strangers because she has no impulse control. This is why guys she likes who have
A nursery school teacher is just a babysitter. Like I said before, any teacher is a babysitter. That's all the way up through college. You know, it used to be up through high school, but now it's through college. Because they teach like remedial math and remedial English in college now, which is just stupid. I don't know why you would pay to go to college. Because women think they're going to find a good man there or like land their dream job. And then they come out and then they're like, ah, shit, I'm in a lot of debt. This is a man's fault.
have options don't want to date her, and why she can only attract guys.
Background noise says lunch packing. That's true. They are good at that. Mine is good at that. She does good. She does, she leaves little notes around. It says you have a good heart. It's very sweet. But, I don't know if it's accurate.
That she doesn't want. So there are people like her who have problems that are obvious, but instead of working on them, they create delusions to protect their ego. Or there are people who have a really sad fall off like Amanda Bynes. I mean, it's...
Oof. Oh, the poor girl. Oh, you know what? You know the opposite of Amanda Bynes is Hillary Duff. Hillary Duff still looks great. She's got a bunch of kids. She's married, happily married, and she looks great. So she is the opposite of Amanda Bynes. I don't know what they did to Hillary Duff because apparently she skated by without having too much damage. Amanda Bynes got fucked. Probably literally, honestly. Probably literally a lot. But she got fucked up, dude. Look at her. She is a mess. An absolute train wreck. And it's sad to see. She used to be a very pretty girl.
It's hard to even believe that this is the same person. And there are a lot of people like this 27-year-old girl who goes by I Exist, which sounds depressing, who never really tried in the first place.
35.
I feel like a loser because
she got
I've never...
35K follow. What is with the the subscribers on YouTube? Some channels have like tons of subscribers, but they don't get any views and no one watches them, and I don't see why anybody would watch them. It's just why do you have 40,000 subs and nobody watches your channel? How?
dated. I had little online boyfriends and that's it. Never in real life. I spend way too many hours on the internet. I just watch YouTube videos. I just want to be in the comfort of my bedroom. And yes, my bedroom is my favorite place in the whole world.
You can hear the strong lack of willingness to do really anything outside of sit around all day on the internet.
Go be a nun or something, right? Go be a nun or something. I don't know. Whatever. You just sound like a boring girl. You're just a boring chick.
And she only does online relationships, which aren't really difficult to initiate and don't carry much responsibility, so she can use them to get the attention that she wants without real commitment to a person. The only problem is that online relationships aren't real, so you don't get any actual fulfillment from them. Like I said, when I started watching these kinds of videos...
I get fulfilled by you guys all the time. Every night, you guys fulfill me up. So thanks for doing that, bros and chicks. There is chicks in here, even though I am pretty mean to them.
2 years ago. Initially, I was sympathetic, but after revisiting some of these people and after wasting a lot of my spare time trying to help a couple of these channels out, it seems like most of these people are losers.
Why help them out? This guy's almost got 1 million subs. He's probably making pretty good money.
Or aren't doing well, not because they're unfortunate or ignorant of what to do. If you pay attention, they do know what to do, and the actual reason they're...
It's okay to be Christian says, my wife is better at remembering our anniversary. Yeah, mine's better at that too. She's better at like remembering birthdays and all that stuff, and like doing like the basic things to like make sure people don't hate you, I guess.
Stuck is because they don't want to put the effort in required to fix their lives, even if it's small.
I'm a loser because I don't know how to cook. I know I could learn, but it's complicated, and I'm not gonna.
It is not complicated. Cooking is not complicated. It's not complicated at all. You don't know how to make a sandwich. You stack ingredients until it's over, right? Like you put bread down, right? Whatever else you want, and then another piece of bread down, and then you made a sandwich. That is the start of cooking, essentially. You can buy a box of macaroni and cheese and read the ingredients on the side. And if you can boil water, you got 90% of it done.
That's one of the funniest things you said. Like, and like, that's so funny.
What is?
That joke about the sandwich.
The sandwich? Yeah. She can't cook. It's easy making a fucking sandwich.
I'm gonna get into it. I am very lazy. I should clean my bedroom, but I don't. And I'm not gonna show you.
You just seem nasty. You seem gross.
Yes. I don't drive. My parents drive me around, because I just don't want to do it.
She spends all this time saying, I'm a loser and I have all these problems, but I don't want to fix any of them. And then the real issue is that people like her become a burden on everyone, and the things they aren't doing become other people's chores. I can't drive and don't want to learn, so I guess I'm okay with having my parents take time out of their day and forcing them to always be available so they can chauffeur me around every time I have to go to work. Obviously, her parents bear some responsibility for this because they were the ones who raised her, but my pity and sympathy go away a bit when you understand how cruel it is to expect someone to pay for your rent, pay for your food, pay your utilities, and drive you around everywhere because you want to stay in your room all day and browse the internet instead of learning how to do these things for
She
yourself.
definitely won't get blowjobs. No, you ain't get. No, she ain't doing nothing like that. You would really have to do some convincing for her to be like, nothing. You don't want to like sell yourself. You're good. She's good. She's perfectly happy where she is doing. She's just chilling there, rotting. She's girl rot. That's what girl rot. That's what girl is rotting. 26 years old. Look at her. 26 years old. She's not even that old. She should be looking good. She looks like shit.
It's not a moral position
Pancake
to prey on
fug.
people feeling bad
Don't
for
even know
you,
what that means.
And I'm tired of so many people
But
doing
yeah.
this, especially when my tax dollars go to it.
I have problems dealing with stress and anxiety, and a lot of people don't get that because
I don't get that. I mean, look, okay, so anxiety doing things so you don't want to drive. You don't have stress because you don't really have bills to pay, and you just sit there and just go outside and do something. Go to the bar and get fucked, for God's sakes. I don't know. You said you're a virgin. You can change that tonight. Anybody in this chat, she can't see this, but like the chat, how many would? I know she's kind of gross and she's not appealing in the least bit, but don't even tell me there'd be no takers. Somebody tell me. She does suck. I understand. Tell me. Somebody can. Okay, there's a lot of no's. That's a hard no. No one would take her and just bust her out just dust that thing off. Maybe she just needs to bust. She's probably too lazy to rub one out. Yeah, dude, I bet that thing is fucking gross. It's like all filled like lint and just hairy as all get out. Oh, God. I'm a man. I have to just shut up and deal with my anxiety. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can yell into a microphone on the internet. That's working for me. It's not, but I lie. I lie about things too, just for fun.
they say, how can you be stressed when you're not supporting a
David says she just needs some discipline. Yeah, just beat her like a broken mule. Just like Just take a belt and just start wailing on her, right? And be like, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. She'll get it, dude. Like, if she doesn't, she's got all these fucking problems. Give her a real fucking problem. You know? Just give her a real fucking problem, right? Now we're in a relationship and I beat you. That's a problem. You're not anxious anymore, are you? Now you're scared. There's a difference. Anxiety comes from like kind of boredom and just like you don't want to be like stressed out by things. But now when I come home, you better have fucking dinner ready or else you're going to get the belt. Wow. Life is a lot better now. And unironically, it would be for her. She'd be like, well, I just like my life. I guarantee you, women are crazy, dude. Crazy. She just wants to get like choked and like pushed around. Her parents coddle the fuck out of her, right? They do. They drive her around because she's too afraid to do it herself. You gotta be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. She just wants a man to do everything for her, including discipline. Discipline, right? She thinks she doesn't, that'll work. I guarantee you.
A family, you know, you're still with your mom and dad, and what's stressing you out? Like, you just have a part-time job as a waitress. Like, what's stressing you? There's just things. I don't know what to say. There are things that stress me out. No one would really understand unless they were in my situation.
Well, that was very
Selva says her hymen's probably as thick as a piece of shoe leather. Oh my God, dude. That's crazy. That's a crazy sentence. That's a crazy fucking sentence, bro. But yeah, I mean, somebody could drill through that thing, and it needs to. It's keeping all the crazy in. That's a problem. Her hymen is what's keeping all that goddamn crazy in. If you just bust that thing, then she'll be like, oh, I feel much better. She'll still be crazy because women constantly make crazy throughout the month. And once a month, but if they have a hymen, it stays in there. It stays in their body and it goes crazier. Having a kid is a good way of like reducing craziness in women. I'm a doctor. I sneezed. Excuse me.
Undescriptive, but the good news is that you work part-time, which means that most of your day is free. You can't spend some of that time learning how to drive to relieve that burden from your parents. It only takes a few months to get good. You can't spend 10 to 15 minutes a day cleaning your room. You can't learn how to cook one new recipe a week so that maybe by the time that you're 30, you aren't a useless person who other people have to take care of.
That's only 4 years off. And that's going to be a quick 4 years. I'm telling you, that's going to be a fast 4 years.
I know I can change those things, but
I don't want to. I don't want no. And her parents are really the problem here. Her parents are the problem because they're just like, well, we're just going to do everything for you until you just get old and have a miserable life because no one's going to want you. I mean, you're pushing it. 26, okay, fine. You still got a few good years left, right? When you start to get 29, 30, 32, 35, it's going to be hard, you know. Once you roll over that 30, you hit that third decade, girl, it's not going to be good for you. It's not. I know you're a virgin. Look, kudos to you for being a virgin because like that automatically ups your value quite a bit. Like quite a bit. You wouldn't even realize it's quite a bit. But you're not even like working on it. You're not that ugly. I've seen much uglier chicks than you, right? The problem is you're just gross and lazy. But like, you know, you could pull this together. I'm just telling you, you could pull it together. You could put on some makeup, put on something nice, and then you go out. You can get laid tonight. You can find a boyfriend tomorrow. You're a girl, for God's sakes. Life has been handed to you. Handed to you. Right? You're not morbidly obese. You're not a fucking screaming. You got the fucking nose fucking thing and fucking hair and the shit. You're fine. You have a possibility of doing something. You're not going to get the greatest guy in the world, all right? You're not going to get the 666s that every girl wants. But you can find someone. You can find someone, and they're going to be happy to have you. You don't even understand. But you're not even... It's her parents. Her parents are the problem here. You got to be like, look, we need you to go get fucked. We need you to go get, like... You need to go get knocked up by somebody at least. You having a kid would fucking pull you out of this. You're not even doing that. Like, right? Just go get fucked. Go. It's so easy. It's really so easy. All you have to do is just allow it to happen, basically. And depending on where you go, honestly. I mean, if you're just in the right place at the right time, you could...
I just don't. And that's why I'm a loser. Only a loser complains about things that they want to change about themselves, but they're not willing to actually do it.
Oh, good. She's self-aware. Now, something that I've noticed with these people is that a lot of them have high self-awareness, but instead of using that to make changes, what they do is use it to placate other people who would...
No, it's a fucking pity party. It's not even a pity. It seems like depression or something like that. It seems like depression. You're just depressed. Just have somebody bust out your hymen like the Kool-Aid man through a wall, dude. Just, oh yeah, fucking bust through that thing. It'll change your outlook. You know, there's got to be someone in the chat. Somebody in the chat. Nobody in my fucking chat. How come on Daywave you guys are a bunch of fucking perverts, but now this, she is gross. Honestly, I'll give you that. She is gross. She's just a pile of gross.
Otherwise, criticize them for being unwilling to change. Most people will back off if you show them some awareness because it tricks them into thinking that you're handling your problems.
My channel is really pathetic and embarrassing too.
Maybe you should watch the old Sulk stream then, huh? Maybe you should slum it over here with us. You think you would like that? Manda, are you still here? Manda, hit this chick up. Hit this chick up and be like, bitch, I got the place for you. You want to join a cult? You seem like the type that would join a cult. You are in good hands with us, sis. You are in good hands. And I'm sure after a while, I can find someone to bust in your hymen. This is a sex cult after all.
I do not want people in real life to see.
Knob's dog would. Yeah, Knob's dog would. Knob isn't here? Oh. Is he okay? I don't care.
See my videos. I don't want to tell them I have a YouTube channel. It's called I Exist. I don't want to be jealous of people.
That is like seriously sad shit. I have a YouTube channel that says I exist because there's no one else that realizes that I exist. Wow, that sucks. She sucks. I have to get the cat.
Which I am.
Come on, kitty.
Would you like to have just a really nice YouTube channel where you can just confidently tell people the name of your channel and just not be humiliated by it.
Okay, so what are you doing to turn your channel into the kind of channel that you want it to be? None of this self-reflection or self-awareness matters if you don't put in the work.
I spend way too many hours.
What work? What work? Put on a dress. Put on some makeup, right? And then go and hang out at a bar. Somebody will talk to you, I promise you. I fucking promise you. I promise you. Just put on some makeup. You'll look a lot better. You don't even have to get surgery, but I would get a nose job because that thing it's not your best feature. I'm going to be out here with, it's not your best feature, right? Fucking pop them tits out a little. It's so easy. You don't even have to go to the gym. You know how hard I work? You know how fucking hard I work? Every single fucking day? to stay moderately attractive, I mean, this is the best I can do, right? But you don't have to do anything like that. You just have to fucking spread your legs and let somebody hit that hairy snatch of yours. It's like, it makes me angry. Because, like, you're like, oh, I'm depressed, I exist, no one cares about me, I'm depressed, blah, blah, blah. You're a fucking girl, dude. You are valuable just because you have the ability to reproduce children. Do you understand that? That is an innate value that everyone finds attractive. Everyone. Right? You'll find someone. It's just you choose to stay inside of your house because you're too scared of everything, or just it's laziness. You want to say it's anxiety? Well, fucking push through that. I don't even want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want. Yeah, Kitty, come on. I don't want to deal with this bitch. Somebody needs to slap her. Like a good fresh slap right across the eyes. Just so she's like, sorry. And then like cowers in a corner for a second. That'll make her feel like a woman, right? That'll get the clam wet.
On the internet, but only on Discord and YouTube. I have my own crap.
How many subs did she have? She had like 37,000. Dude, she had a lot.
Be a little YouTube channel. You know, it only gets a few hundred views. I don't put much effort.
Here's the thing about YouTube, as opposed to Rumble. I don't think most of the... I think there's like a shitload of bots on YouTube. I think there's just a shitload of bots. And because like 37,000 and then you only get a couple hundred views on your videos, like why are people actually subbing to your channel and then no one's watching? I don't get that. I've seen it on a number of channels, but no. How many do I have? I think I have like 50 on I have 48. So I'm a long way away from actually monetizing over there, but I don't care. I make all of my money on Rumble.
Into my videos, I can't really be bothered to.
Right, so you're doing nothing. You aren't even doing things that are easy and obvious to make your videos less embarrassing, which is...
Silva says you can buy followers on YouTube, X, and Insta? How? Really? Should I do that? But it doesn't even matter because you're not even making money off of those people. You're like, what? Is it just to punch up the number? Just so I don't even see the point in that, really.
To use an editing software to cut out the 3 or so minutes of this video that are dead air, or cut out repeat.
Even buy follower bits that will leave generic comments. Yeah. So just a bunch of AI. Yeah, that doesn't sound... Nah, I'm not going to do that. It wouldn't make me any money.
Heated arguments. For all of you watching this at home, I've largely done that for her so you guys don't have to suffer through a long pause every 10 words. But I assure you, as someone who has watched the source material, it's quite annoying. But this stuff is not that...
It's weird because, like, I make, like, quite a bit more than somebody who has, like, 40,000 followers on YouTube. And I'm like, how is that even possible? How is that even possible that I make, like, so... Because I was talking to a guy who had, like, 40,000. And I was like, how am I making so much more money than you? I don't... They're just... He made, like, nothing. Like, nothing. I'm just like, what? I was literally shocked.
Hard to figure out. How about you spend 10 minutes of that time that you use bed rotting on YouTube to look up topics that people find interesting? Wait, that would be slightly difficult. Never mind, just play Fortnite instead.
And don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm fucking reeling in the bucks on this channel, right? I mean, it is a small channel. It is, you know, but like, still, yeah, that's why I like YouTube. It has to be mostly fake. It has to be mostly fake. That's the only way I can see it being. Because you're not making any money. These people aren't making any money.
Playing Fortnite, that's my favorite game. I also play Minecraft and
Look, she looks a little bit better. She looks passable. Nobody in the chat could tell me. No one in the chat wants to fucking. There's been chicks on Daywave where half the chat says wood for like a 35-year-old Daytona skank, right? No one's taking this pristine driven snow virgin over here. No one? None of you. Christian says the ADL reposts my memes. That is worth more than money. That is, dude. That's hilarious.
Making a successful YouTube channel is not an impossible task or a thing that you can't.
Yeah, but don't actually watch their content. I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point? You just have a bunch of followers for nothing. I would be more upset about that. If I had like 30,000 followers and got like 200 views on my videos, I'd be bummed about that.
Slowly build up.
Because then people are seeing that you posted and still saying no, right? Still saying no. Being like, okay, that guy, that's no. Still saying no. That's even more hurtful.
Up to over time if you put the work in. Do you not care about the people who watch these videos? It's like you want viewers, but the channel is all about your needs, not the audience.
I feel like a loser.
Selvis says, I volunteer as tribute. Thank you, Selvis. Thank you, Selvis. God damn. Fucking finally. Somebody with some fucking nuts. Yeah, of course. Bitch, come on over. This one. Her. Come on over. Can somebody contact this girl and invite her to the cult? I'm not going to do it because I have better things going on. But you guys have the ability to find this girl. I exist. I exist or something like that. Contact her, invite her to the cult. I think she'll like it. Remember, love bomb. You guys know how to do it.
Because I always need attention from people.
Despite says he volunteered like 5 times, dude. Okay, all right.
And sometimes I have trouble.
David says get her in touch with herself. Everyone thinks she needs to like strum the old mandolin, like fucking polish the pearl type of. I don't think that's the case because I bet you she does. Oh, I bet you she does. You don't think she's just? Yeah, I guarantee you she fucking rubs that thing down, right? Right? How often do girls masturbate?
Sleeping at night if I didn't get enough attention during the day.
If I didn't get enough attention during the day? Wow. You're still a girl.
That's why the internet is my best friend. I get lots of attention on there as long as I beg for it.
Bitch, come on over to the Sulk stream. Come on over. We'll bust in your shoe leather.
So this is not really about providing an interesting experience for the audience. YouTube is just basically a public therapy.
Silva says I'm going to tongue punch her fart box. You're a romantic.
Session for you, which is a mistake that a lot of small YouTubers make. And
Silvis has land. He's got land. He got 5 fucking acres, dude. That's good land.
Problem I have with this whole I'm a loser trend is that these people are essentially getting rewarded with attention and possibly money for telling viewers to pity them. I mean, this one got her over 1 million views on a channel that was previously not even breaking 1,000, and there are tons of comments praising.
Couch Tripping says, ew, what? Jess, come on.
her, which is what usually happens when people make this kind of content, so it just encourages them to
glass houses, honey.
continue being a loser, when in reality, the best thing for their mental health is for people to stop enabling them and let them fail and suffer until they get better. I think the importance of suffering is best displayed in a movie called Whiplash, where a college kid tries to become a great jazz drummer and his teacher is just incredibly abusive. Because of that, personally, I hated this movie right up until the scene where the teacher explains why he's so mean.
Truth is, I don't think people understood
What's this actor's name? What is this actor's name? Spider-Man. He was
it was I was doing at Schaefer. I was there to push people beyond what's expected of them. I told you that story about how Charlie Parker became Charlie Parker, right?
Yeah. Joe Jones threw a symbol at his head.
Exactly. Parker's a young kid, pretty good on the sax, gets up to play at a cutting session, and he fucks it up, and he's laughed off stage. Cries himself to sleep that night, but the next morning, what does he do? He practices. A year later, he goes back to the Reno, and he steps up on that stage, and he plays the best motherfucking solo the world has ever heard.
While I don't agree with the incredibly abusive behavior shown during this movie, what he's saying is absolutely right. Suffering and failure are a catalyst for success.
I mean, yeah, look, you guys might be surprised to hear this, but I've bombed on stage. Look, I've been doing this kind of work for a long time, and it does. I mean, you're gonna deal with failure, time and time and time again, and then you just keep on doing it, and eventually you're gonna fail less. How about that? You're gonna fail less. So it's not really about. I mean, it is about talent. Don't get me wrong. You need to be talented. That's just you can't just fail your way to your grave. But you do need to at least try. People need to fucking try things. And sometimes when people are like, "Oh, I'm not immediately good, so I stopped." Well, yeah, you're not going to be immediately good at anything, right? You're not going to. I learned to play guitar, and you guys might not realize this, but there was a time where I sucked at it. I fucking sucked at it. And now I play beautifully. Something fucking 20 years later.
But the problem with people like the I Exist girl is that everyone in their life prevents them from
Despite says J. Jonah Jameson. No, that's the guy from Spider-Man. That's the character. I said the actor.
experiencing failure because they feel bad for them.
J.K. Simmons.
So then you get a
him.
person who is approaching 30 with the skill set and maturity of a 12-year-old. Nothing improves a person like having their self-concept destroyed by getting fired from a job or experiencing a harsh breakup or failing to achieve a dream. These moments are painful, but they're pivotal for motivation and development. There are some things that can only be learned through intense suffering, and I think people like
Sure. Suffering is actually, it's not bad. I mean, we all suffer. We all suffer constantly, especially as men. We suffer constantly. Being a young man is hard, and then no one respects you at all, and it's just, you need to work for shit. You need to, actually push your way through, and she don't want to do any of that. No, she doesn't want, she doesn't want anything. She knows that she's like a loser sitting in her fucking room, and she doesn't want to fix it. She's happy. She's content where she is. Her room is her favorite place. The internet is her best friend. She is good. She doesn't want anything. And what can you do? What can you do about that? You can't, I mean, bust in her hymen, I guess. But she's probably not going to be into that.
I Exist girl don't develop into good and successful people because everyone just shelters them from loss or tries to make them feel better when they should be learning how to cope with and move past their misery on their own. They have all these high hopes and dreams, but they don't understand that the people who actually achieve the things they want put themselves through a lot of pain, and they don't give up.
But is there a line? Maybe you go too far and you discourage the next Charlie Parker from ever becoming Charlie Parker?
No, man, no. Because the next Charlie Parker would never be discouraged.
Yeah.
Right, she wants to be a YouTuber, and the truth is that most people who start out a channel are embarrassed to show it, and everyone in their lives tells them to quit and get a real job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So my mom, she visited a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, I don't know. And I was talking about my Rumble channel, and then she's all like, "Are you still doing that?" I was like, "Thanks, Ma." Thank you. Been doing this for years, and then I was doing comedy for like a decade before that. So you guys just do not keep up with me. You just, I mean, I don't get a fucking phone call or a fucking text. So, but really, you can't You can't even follow the channel? You can't, like... Yes, but it is what it is, you know?
But if they're really made for this, they'll take all that negative feedback, give those people the middle finger, get their ass to work, and keep trying new things until they're successful.
Yeah, you just
People
keep
who are
trying.
motivated-
What's the point? You just got to keep trying to fucking shit, you know? And honestly, the channel's doing well. I'm making more now than I ever have doing. So I'm happy with where I am now, and I only see growth going forward. I don't think my parents are going to notice, and I'm fine with that. I'm not really worried about that, but I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Don't get discouraged by hard work and negative feedback, and I think the only time it's appropriate to be kind to the ones who are stuck in the loser cycle is if they start self-improving. Up until that point, the cruelest thing that you can do is be nice to them.
So yeah, that concludes today's video. Feel free to comment.
David says, I think she's mid-baiting for subs. That's actually a good theory. Mid-baiting for subs. I've never heard that before. But here's the thing. She looks attainable. And she a virgin. She looks attainable as shit. She looks attainable, right? And there's a lot of loser-ass guys out there that'd be like, hey, I can get this chick if only I sub to her channel. But then they don't watch. So it's like, you know. So, yeah, you could be right.
Comments if you're a loser or not, and if so, what makes you a loser? Or if you're not a loser, please tell me what you're doing right in life. I'm just curious.
You already know what to do. You listed out like 5 important things in your video that you could work on. You're just refusing to do them, and for me, after seeing many of these types of videos...
Yeah, it must be those sick t-shirts. By the way, if you want to buy a t-shirt, I posted the link to my store. Please buy a t-shirt. I would appreciate it.
It's not shocking to hear someone describe exactly what their problem is, but take no action on it. That's actually very common. And what these people are often missing is the initiative to just start doing something. They have all these ideas of what they want, but they don't put any mental energy into taking steps towards their goal, so it seems like this massive, unachievable task. And that causes them to miss the simple changes they can make right now that will make the more difficult ones seem easier later. It's pretty easy to download DaVinci Resolve and cut out all the dead air in your videos. It's easy to write notes on a whiteboard and stick it behind your camera so you don't forget what to say. And when you do that, organizing those ideas into an order that would make your video more engaging becomes a lot more apparent. When you start putting in the mental work to learn a new skill or into fixing yourself, certain things will become obvious. And from the outside looking in, what's obvious to me is that this girl's core issue is anxiety. Well, it's not that hard to notice because she flat out says it.
Anxiety rules my life. It really does.
As I said, it's not...
Anxiety over what? Getting old? And you're just still going, huh?
Not like she doesn't know what her problem is, but I don't think she understands the extent that her anxiety affects.
The Christian says t-shirt or donate. What is better? Well, when you buy a t-shirt, I only make like $5. So if you want a t-shirt, buy a t-shirt. If you want to donate, donate. Look, so here's the thing about the t-shirts. People in the chat, like Despite specifically designs a lot of them, and they're sick. They are like, here, I'll bring them up. Some of them are fucking fire, dude. I tried designing one and no one bought it because it kind of sucked. But like, Despite did this one. This one's pretty cool, right? It says just say BC. Because I hate it when people say BCE or like Common Era or that kind of bullshit. That shit pisses me off. And Despite did this. This is really neat. And this is all Bonfire. These are good shirts. I mean, I wear the shirts. We buy the shirts. Despite did this one. This is actually a picture of me on the beach at night. And he just made it fancier, which is pretty cool. See? It says Incredible Sulk right there at the bottom. What else? Oh, Despite also did this one. This one's really interesting. I think it looks better on the shirt. This one's really interesting. The detail in this, he drew all of this by hand. That's sick. Maybe we should have made it white. I don't know. I think it looks sick. That's a cool one. Let's see what else. This one's kind of cool, but this one's AI. But I forgot who did this one. But that one's kind of cool, but that is AI. I have a bunch of them. Despite did this one, we actually have this one. This one's cool. The Sulk stream. It's got the alien and the Bigfoot. So this is Potato. This is by Thought. Official food of the Sulk cult. That's a good. Thought did another one here too, which is the and we also have the Sulkster. You want to be a Sulkster? Get a Sulkster shirt. We also have Sulkamania, KSW. Thought did these two. The sex cult, it's not a sex cult, which we actually have one. You can see Jess wearing it sometimes. And then the Eat the Slop shirt, which I think is pretty cool. It doesn't say Cat the Slop, it says Eat the Slop. So go buy a shirt. There's good ones. There's good pieces. I like them. I think they're cool. So yeah, but I do make lists, but I'd be fine if you bought a shirt. I'd be happy. You send me a picture. Post it.
Baxter. For example,
I also wish I was smart.
Despite says I don't get paid. I did it for John. Well, I don't actually sell all that many shirts. So
a very stupid person. Sometimes when people talk to me, I just don't even understand what they're saying. And I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know if it's because of the
That's a lot of merch. Yeah, it is it's a number of shirts.
Way they word things, maybe I just interpret it differently than what they meant, or I sometimes just find it hard.
Christian says, I'll get a shirt for Despite, not you. Okay, that's fine.
Hard to have conversations with people because I don't really have much to contribute to it because I'm just not, I feel like I'm not very educated, if I'm being honest. I don't feel smart. I just feel like...
No one asked you to be smart. You have to fucking make a sandwich and get your hymen busted in. That's it. That's all you have to do That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. It's not hard. You don't have to go to college and be like, oh, so do you go to sandwich architecture school? Do you need that? No, you don't. You don't. Be a housewife. You'll be happier than any of these big city chicks with a fucking corporate job and a 6-figure salary. I promise you.
Sometimes I just don't have things to say.
It's not that you're stupid. I don't think she's stupid. I think what's occurring here is...
I think she's stupid. But, normal woman stupid. Yeah.
She's so nervous to talk to people, and her mind is so focused on every possible negative outcome of the conversation that she has no mental capacity to pay attention to the person who's talking or focus on what to say when it's her turn to speak. A part of fixing anxiety is to learn how to turn off intrusive thoughts so you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And the answer to that is...
Here's the thing. You can't turn off intrusive thoughts. They're intrusive thoughts. You just got to deal with them. Ignore them if you can. Just deal with them and then go about your day. Intrusive thoughts happen. That's why they're called intrusive thoughts, for God's sakes. They happen. You can't latch onto them. You just got to let them float on by like logs in a river, right? They're going to come. They will come. You can't stop them. You can't block it up, right? They're going to come. You're going to notice it. You're going to observe it, and you just let it go, right? Don't try to collect it. You know what I mean? Don't fucking do that to yourself. All right? You got to let it go. There's going to be new thoughts coming in a minute, right? If you're still fucking dealing with this one, when that new one comes in, now you're going to have 2 fucking things to deal with. Okay? So just let them go. Toss them back into the river, and they'll go on their way. Just don't fucking deal with it, right? Don't. Just come on, fucking goose fraba. Fucking chill, bitch.
It's just meditation practice for 10 minutes a day where you learn how to focus on a singular task. Then you use that meditation practice to learn how to shift your attention away from unwanted thoughts so you can focus on what you're supposed to be doing.
Tejas says, nurture the sperm till it grows strong, then raise it with the skills to kill its father. This is exactly what I'm doing to my kids, right? One day they will have to kill me, right? One day they will have to kill me, and I hope they do it valiantly, right? With like a sword or something like that. Not like pulling a plug on a fucking wall, right? Dude, fucking smother me with a pillow at the very least. But a sword would be ideal, right? That way I feel a sense of pride as I'm bleeding out, okay? Just so, you know, I raised this, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yes, yeah, okay. You know, I'm not raising fucking pussies here, okay? I'm not going to do that. Oh, we don't want to kill him. Maybe there's going to be a power outage. No, fucking stab me or something, dude. Fucking make eye contact.
Of course, you have to practice with things that actually trigger your anxiety, which...
Explosive cupcake on Father's Day. Ooh, that would be dirty. Yeah, I'd be proud.
For her, shouldn't be that hard because it seems like everything does that.
I feel like such a loser. I used to have a job before. I worked at that same job.
She ain't that bad. She ain't that bad. I've seen a lot worse. I really have. I've seen a lot worse. And yeah, she's kind of gross. And she's like, I bet she stinks. But like... Someone give her a shot. But the thing is, she'll be like, no, I'm not interested. I bet she gets fucking hit on all the time, right? But she's just like, no, I'm good. Living here with my parents. And they feed me and drive me around. Well, yeah, no shit. No shit, you're good because you're fucking living on Easy Street. That sounds pretty fucking good to me too, right? And you're a girl, so you don't crave sex like a guy does, right? You can be a fucking nun in a convent. It's the same thing. You're good. You're happy. This is your parents' fault. Excuse me. This is your parents' fault.
For 9 years. And the only reason why I stuck around for so long was because I was too scared.
It's okay to be Christian says a father's greatest joy is when his son wears his skin like a jacket. Oh, well, that's going a little far, honestly. That's okay. It's going a little far. Oh, you're wearing your dad suit again? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm just like, look at me. I yell.
Scared to try anything else.
He's mocking me. And if I'm in heaven and I'm watching that, I'll be like, okay, come on. That's funny. I'll still have a sense of humor.
House to have a whole other interview, meet new people and have new responsibilities. I wanted to stay in my comfort zone.
I mean, this one is not that uncommon.
Bingo! The comfort zone. It's comfortable. You're comfortable, right? You don't want to have to even attempt to do anything remotely uncomfortable, like starting a relationship with somebody. That is uncomfortable. There is a time in a relationship where you're not comfortable, right? You holding farts and stuff. I never did, but you just you don't know everything about the other person. You don't know what their likes, and you have to get to know them. There's a little bit of work involved. There is a time when you're not perfectly comfortable with somebody, right? You have to get through that. You're just so comfortable and your life is so good. I bet if you got your ass thrown on the street where you actually experience a modicum of discomfort, you'd probably be shacking up with a dude in no time. It would be very easy for you. It would be no issue whatsoever. And then you get married, and then you have kids, and then you'd be happy, and then you could be comfortable there. Comfortable there instead of this weird nunnery that you just fucking sit around and fucking what is that term you used? Mid-baiting fucking incels on the internet. Right? You're doing this to yourself, bitch. God. Somebody contact her and make her part of the cult.
Actually, most people kind of just stick with what they're used to because they're afraid of change. Honestly, if people spent some time thinking about it, I think they would find that tons of their choices and behaviors are governed by anxiety. Even stuff that's smaller and even stuff that's less obvious than looking for a new job. However, in this girl's case, I don't think meditation practice by itself is enough. Based on other videos of hers that I've watched.
Is it even meditation? I mean, look, I have more intrusive thoughts than anybody. I have to have the most intrusive thoughts. I have to have more than the average person at least, right? Because it's a mess up here, you know? It's just a fucking mess. And there's all kinds of like trauma and shit like that. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, pity me. I'm just saying, like, you gotta fucking deal with it. Like, you're just gonna die and wither away until you're an old husk of a woman. And then you're gonna hate yourself even more. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna get worse for you. And if somebody doesn't kick you in the fucking vagina, then you're just not gonna do anything. You're just gonna live with mom and dad and be comfortable, right? You don't have to do anything. You just have to fucking bend over. You just need to find a guy that's like willing to take you in, which would be no problem. I promise you that would be no issue. You're not the prettiest girl in the world. I'll give you that. You're not the prettiest girl in the world. But you need to bathe and like shave your clam and stuff, right? Do that. But you acting like you don't have real problems. You don't have a single problem. Your problem is you're comfortable and you don't want to be slightly uncomfortable ever. But for some reason you want to travel? You want to travel on an airplane or a boat and fucking land in a strange country with different cultures of people that might rob you? Fucking Egyptians and fucking gypsies and shit everywhere, dude. Are you insane? Are you crazy? You must be crazy. You just sound crazy. You're crazy. You're just a crazy, stinky bitch, aren't you? You're just a crazy, stinky bitch.
She has more serious issues to deal with than a little bit of fear.
Dan, would you knock down this crazy, stinky bitch? You would, right? You would. You'd take her in. You'd be like, you're my stinky bitch now. And you'd pet her and you'd love her and be like, mwah, I love you, stinky bitch. I love you, stinky bitch. And she'd be happy. She'd be happy with Dan Snot. She'd be fucking happy with Dan Snot. That is low.
Most of that appears to be related to her intense Catholic
shots fired
upbringing and a hyper focus on religious rituals.
I developed a very intense fear of hell, and it kind of took over my life. I remember.
I'm sorry, I found that funny. I found that really funny. I don't know why. I mean, hell is scary, sure. The idea of going to hell is scary. I get that, but like, how she's addicted to comfort. She's addicted to comfort. And now she's thinking about the final comfort, right? I don't want to go to hell because it seems uncomfortable. Wow. Whoa. What is the psyche with you? Like, I would like to dig around in that smooth-brained fucking skull of yours and, like, figure out what makes you tick because you're wild. She is deathly afraid of being even slightly uncomfortable. And now that she has her whole life on lock, she doesn't even have to stretch her pussy out. Childbirth is a no-go. Childbirth is a no-go. She's not going to labor, She's not doing any of that. Yeah, you're going to hell.
Having to say a lot of prayers as a kid.
Despite says sup, you're hella late, Dan. Yeah, you are pretty late, bro.
Morning, we would say prayers together.
You were watching Passions? Whatever on Pessies? Why? What? All right, I'm not going to be offended.
As a family, and every night we would.
It's okay to be Christian. Says the last 5 minutes are usually the best part, though. Now I'm gonna fucking sit here for 5 minutes saying absolutely nothing. No, I can't do that.
A longer list of prayers.
But right, Dan, you knock this bitch down. And look. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Dan, she's a virgin too. You're the first one through the gates, man. You're the first one through. So you knock it down, right?
And looking back, I didn't really...
You're going to need to buy a t-shirt for penance. Dan Snot says you need, or Despite says you need to buy a t-shirt for penance. And yes, we have a wonderful line of t-shirts.
Even understand what the prayers meant. I was only saying the prayers because I didn't want to go to hell. I was told I have to pray every day or I will go to hell. We would say, Hail Mary, Our Father. We would...
Wow. I don't know if that's exactly how it works. I think there's some other things involved. And there's like a lot. It's not just praying. Look, that's a theology thing and that's up to you. So I'm not going to like go down that road, but it's not just, you can't just pray. You can't just pray and then go do blow and fuck hookers, because yeah, you gotta like, whatever though, that's on you. Go out and do something. Go get in a relationship, get married and have kids. Okay. Then you're going to be fine. It's going to take a little bit of work. But like so small, so tiny, this much work, just a little bit. You're gonna have to be a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, it's gonna be hard. Especially when you're getting fucking free dinners, living, and you probably get your laundry done. You probably get your fucking laundry done, and like, oh my God. It sounds... She's gonna be... And I know she probably stinks.
Pray to St. Michael the Archangel. Oh my God. I would pray to St. Michael the Archangel multiple times a day because he is our defender. And I used to think that St. Michael would be flying around.
Why do they pray? Why do Catholics pray to saints and not God? Why do they pray to saints and not God? Why not just pray to God? Right? Wouldn't that be like, wouldn't that just be like, are you going over people's heads or something? Is there like a hierarchy? Just pray to God. Why are you praying to saints? I don't get this. I don't get this demigod thing that the Catholics have. What is that? It's like lesser gods. Why are you praying to them? Whatever. Again, this is your theology. I'm not going to start like stepping on your toes like that. It just seems weird. It seems weird to me. But I can't, you do you.
Around me, protecting me, and if I didn't pray to him, he wasn't going to be there. And there was going to be demons that are attacking me. I was praying out of fear.
This is actually a specific form of OCD.
Dan Snot says because saints can cast spells too. Spells? Spells?
Related to religious practices. There's a whole episode of We're All Insane that talks about it. But it seems like her parents and religious community fear...
Spells! You're seriously fucking telling me spells. Whatever, you guys. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. Buy a shirt. Send a donation to my Ko-Fi or my PayPal or my Rumble. Please help me continue doing this show. I want to feel not like that girl felt, because that was, I don't like using the term hopeless, but damn, if I had to use a term, it would definitely be hopeless. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. No show tomorrow because it's the 4th of July, and then I am going to Europe next week, and so we might not have a show for a little while. I'll see. Maybe I'll do a Monday show, maybe a Tuesday show or something like that. But after that, that's like it for a couple weeks. So thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and be awesome to each other and make good decisions that would make me proud. Be a good cult members, and do all those things. And until I see you again, drink a lot of water, get a good night's sleep, and take care of yourselves, because I care about you too. I'll see you guys when I see you. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too, government lies they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, blowing like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.